Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here's 3 quick stories to get your day started. The Dayton Flyers are on a roll. The men's basketball team now winning 13 in a row. Crazy, beating LaSalle last night, 66-54.
Yeah, they're number 16 in the country. I'm sure their numbers will continue to go up. And there's talk about DeRon Holmes being an All-American this year, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are on fire.
Crazy.
Probably the best team since Obi Toppin's team during the pandemic. So, yeah.
Love to see it.
People are wild. They're loving this. And tomorrow, the Boonshoft is holding a birthday party for otters. For the otters there, they're turning 8.
So cute.
And you can celebrate by showing up at 4 p.m. for the Otter Talk. I will say the otters are probably my favorite part of the Boonshoft.
Otters are so cute.
They are cute, and those ones are always swimming and playing and having a good time, and they're wild.
They are just living their best life.
I would say bring one of them in, but they look like a toddler, just wild.
I would take one home.
Have you ever seen, I've seen pictures of otters eating alligators. I think I'm good.
Oh.
Is that wild? Yeah.
That is wild.
More you know.
Oyster Fest starts tonight at Lily's Bistro. You can get some oyster classics at the restaurant through February 4th.
I one time had a fried oyster po' boy.
Oh.
There.
That sounds lovely.
Boss.
I mean, these look amazing.
Oysters Rockefeller. I think that's what that is. I don't know. We can't go wrong at Lily's.
I'll eat it all.
Mm-hmm.
This morning, a roadway in Greeneville is back open after train derailment involving highly flammable liquid.
Crews worked through the night to clean up 3 tanker cars, all carrying ethanol. Melina Brown joins us live this morning. Melina, what does it look like out there this morning?
Well, I'll let you take a look right now. Obviously, the sun's still not up, but all of those carts that were overturned or derailed have been removed. Now, we are told that the tracks will take time to be repaired. It all happened right here near the intersection of State Route 41 and 557. And like you said, Nathan, those cars that overturned did contain ethanol. The initial call for this incident came in around noon yesterday. As of right now, officials say none of the tanks carrying ethanol were damaged enough to cause any leaking or spillage. Greenville police and fire crews
Also a U.S. Army veteran. Authorities warn he may be dealing with mental distress. If you have any information about where he might be, call 911 or the Miami County Communications Center. That number is right there on your screen, 937-440-9911.
Centerville City Schools are now looking to cut back in the upcoming school year. That's if the district's $3.9 mil operating levy passes in March. A previous levy vote failed in November. Now the district is lowering their request. Here's what the district is planning. They'll get rid of 4 teaching positions, cut 10.5 classified positions. That'll include people like paraprofessionals, custodians, bus drivers, and clerical positions. The district will also get rid of 11 academic volunteer building coordinator stipends and hire essential staff at the lowest starting salary. The district will also increase preschool tuition by 10%. If the March levy fails, more cuts will be on the way.
Today, Montgomery County will start the annual point-in-time count to determine just how many people are unsheltered in the county. It's a requirement for federal funding to help homelessness starting at 3:30. 6 teams of volunteers will go out and count everyone they can find who's experiencing homelessness and not in shelters in a single night. One expert says it's clear something is missing.
So where we are really not meeting the needs is with safe, affordable housing. So that's the answer to homelessness, it's housing. A shelter is a necessary crisis safety support in our community, but it's not the answer to homelessness.
Now, the final count will also include people in shelters and will be released in March.
Community leaders across the Miami Valley are joining together to combat hunger in the area. The Super Bowl of Caring is helping to eliminate child hunger in Dayton. Our partners will be accepting food and monetary donations throughout the area. Those donations will then be distributed to 3 local organizations: the Food Bank, The Love of Children or Flock, and the House of Bread. You can help by taking out your phone and scanning this QR code to make a donation. You have until February 12th.
Our time right now is 5:09. Don't forget to get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
The U.S. and U.K. carrying out more airstrikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. I'm Atra Al-Nashar with their next move to try and stop attacks in the Red Sea.
You're watching Your Day.
While we're still continuing to see rain across the Miami Valley, it is not exactly a picturesque start to your morning. Frankly, it's been a wet period throughout the last Well, go on a couple days. I mean, you think about it. We saw the snow over the weekend, and from that point on, really have had just a lot of wet ground and things of that nature as the snow melted. And then, of course, we started to actually get rain here. And as for the rain, probably getting steadier during the mid to late morning hours. Actually, could be another period or two where it does get a little bit heavier. Rain will clear out of the area for the afternoon. Should be a lull, if you will, from afternoon, evening through overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow itself should be fairly dry up until, again, afternoon and evening. And here we go. It should be the last line of rain, at least for about a 36, maybe 48-hour period. But that it's also going to be the last of the really warm temperatures. Today we're aiming for the low 50s, so we've got that going for us tonight. Could be in the 40s again. We'll talk more about dense fog across the area and why yet again it seems like that's going to be a theme for tomorrow. Tomorrow itself highs in the 50s. Then we retreat into the upper 40s. That may be a morning temperature with a lot of the day spent upper 30s, low 40s on Saturday. Friday. Saturday itself, low 40s, and then upper 30s Sunday, somewhere between Saturday night to Sunday. Little system comes through that could bring us a wintry mix. Now, if you are traveling this morning, fog's going to be your enemy, as well as some wet roads. We're continuing to see that, and there could be some spots of patchy, dense fog, especially as you move north and west of Dayton.
The White House confirming serious discussions are underway for a temporary ceasefire in Gaza with the release of hostages. However, nothing is final, and deadly confrontations both in Gaza and Yemen are stoking fears of a bigger conflict.
National correspondent Atra Elnishar reports on the latest from Washington.
In the middle of the night in Yemen Monday, American and British forces struck 8 Houthi locations. According to the Pentagon, targets included the Iran-backed terrorist group's underground storage and missile and air surveillance capabilities.
These strikes were precise, proportionate, and intended to further disrupt and degrade the capabilities the Houthis have been using to threaten global trade and the lives of innocent mariners.
The Pentagon says the goal is to de-escalate tensions and restore stability in the Red Sea, where Houthis have been attacking commercial ships in response to Israel's offensive in Gaza. There's no sign yet of any de-escalation. A top Houthi leader posting on X, "Our people do not know how to surrender, and they are fighting to prevent the annihilation and siege of the people of Gaza, and the Americans are fighting and bombing the people of Yemen to protect the terrorist criminal, the Israeli enemy." Last week, President Biden said this.
Are the airstrikes in Yemen working?
Well, when you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No. Are they going to continue? Yes.
UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says the strikes have been effective and they won't hesitate to act again, including steps to cut off the Houthis' funding.
We are working closely with the United States on this and plan to announce new sanction measures in the coming days.
None of this is easing fears about a bigger war breaking out in the Middle East. When asked if confrontations with the Houthis will continue until Israel's offensive in Gaza is over, the Pentagon said operations with international partners will go on, including additional strikes if necessary, but that the U.S. does not want to go beyond that. In Washington, I'm Atra Elnishar.
Our time right now is 5:17. Still to come.
It is a non-medication therapy that could help ease depression. I'm Liz Bonus. A new pilot study just complete will tell you what researchers have discovered. It is just ahead.
You're watching Your Day.
Time for Pet of the Day, and we got a dog who is a road tripper, or at least looks like it. Peanut joining us. Josh sent it Peanut. This is a blue sky day, which we haven't really seen in a while, but I just love this photo when it was sent in. I did like that. You know, Peanut enjoys the rides. Valkyrie, of course, I've explained plenty of times that she is a very much so front right seat of the car person, would rather be there than just about anywhere in the world. And a day like today, she's practically begging to go for a car ride just because it's been so sopping wet. And frankly, it's going to continue to be wet all day, starting out with temperatures in the 40s, getting into the low 50s. So at least it's going to be mild. But again, with the periods of rain, it's already sopping wet in my backyard, and frankly, I've already started to see some puddles forming. So unfortunately for the Valkyrie and for a lot of the dogs, maybe a whole lot of inside time here as we still continue to have the showers this morning. Speaking of the showers, they continue throughout the area. Traffic right for now doesn't look too bad, but again, if you are going to be traveling, expect wet roads and potentially some dense fog across the area.
78% of respondents to an Herbalife and One Poll survey said they're trying to improve their sleep this year. That involves making bedtime and morning routines more consistent, taking time away from screens before bed, and eating less in the evening before bedtime. Well, doctors are sharing the best time to weigh yourself, the morning, while advocating for consistency when you step on the scale. Weight can fluctuate during the day, so it's good to pick the same time each day to weigh yourself, according to doctors. The slight fluctuations in weight between morning and evening can be attributed to the food and drinks consumed throughout the day and activities and exercises. Well, testing a person's blood for a type of protein called p-tau could be used to screen for Alzheimer's disease with high accuracy, even before symptoms begin to show. A new study shows this protein can be detected in the blood before it starts to build on the brain when it's picked up by a brain scan. The test is currently available for research only, but doctors expect it will be available for clinical use soon. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
A new study shows there may be a new way to boost mood. Medical reporter Liz Bonas shares why the secret may be linked to your spine.
This study looked at a potential non-medication therapy to treat depression. It was just a pilot study, but it instead looked at spinal cord stimulation. It shows promise as a non-drug treatment.
It's all because, as this video provided by Ohio's University of Cincinnati shows, it appears pathways of neurons located in the spinal cord convey information from the body to regions of the brain that are involved in the emotional experience we know as mood. Principal investigator Francisco Romanava told me in some people it's possible that in the brains of those who are depressed, the information they receive is hyperactive or noisy.
So perhaps if we can attempt to decrease this noise or decrease this hyperactivity through non-invasive spinal stimulation, perhaps we can improve the depressive symptoms.
Can you share a little bit about your results?
What we did was we conducted these sessions, either the active or the sham versions, 3 times per week during 20 minutes for 8 weeks.
Sure enough, he was able to demonstrate the patients that received the active stimulation had a greater decrease in the severity of their depressive symptoms compared to the control group. The goal now? Larger trials with more patients finding similar results.
Side effects of this non-medication therapy treatment, just mild, mainly just redness in the treatment area, and it did go away shortly after each session. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonas reporting.
It is time to celebrate the kitchen staple that has people divided into 2 camps, creamy or crunchy. It is National Peanut Butter Day. It wasn't until the late 1800s when the peanut was considered to be more than animal feed. Peanut butter was introduced to audiences at the 1904 Universal Exposition in St. Louis. In 1922, Joseph Rosefield found a way to keep the peanut oil from separating from the peanut solids. And thank goodness he did.
I'm not a huge peanut butter person, but I'll enjoy it in cookies or stuff, desserts.
Yeah, my husband's allergic to nuts, so I don't really eat peanut butter often, but when I do, I love it.
Yeah, it's funny because I got, like, you know those bulk bags of like peanuts? I found one at the store years ago for super on sale, and I just said, well, you know what, I'll make my own peanut butter. And I threw it into a food processor, and it's so much better. Like, just,
is it hard to make?
No, well, if you have a food processor, it's just shove peanuts in there, throw some salt, and just hold that button down and just watch it do its thing.
That's it?
Yeah, and it's like I did it with almond butter. I found almond butter better, but homemade peanut butter, just, there's something about it, just doing it. It comes out maybe a little bit more crunchy, but you know what? It's fine, it's texture.
Interesting. I would never thought to do that.
Yeah.
Me either. Also, you like texture?
I mean,
What? Coming from the man who doesn't like anything in his ice cream?
Yeah, well, that's besides the point.
Just living his life, living his best life.
I like mint chocolate chip, all right? Like, I could be weird and fun.
Oh, living on the wild side this morning. Whoa, our time right now is 5:26, still to come.
Former President Donald Trump is celebrating another big win, just had the results from New Hampshire.
You're watching Your Day. Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 stories to get your day started. A woman in California started a blockbuster-themed movie library in her front yard. This is so cute. The free boxes are filled with DVDs people can borrow or even add to the collection.
These are like the free little libraries.
I love this.
And I love the Be Kind Rewind sticker because I remember that growing up. That's great.
I love this so much.
I kind of want to do this now.
I think people should start doing this all over the place.
Yeah, people will be coming up to mine and be like, wow, Quentin Tarantino movies and Pixar. That'd be it. Anyways, alligators showing off one of the ways they cope with freezing temperatures. Check out this video showing a gator suspended in water. This is wild. They just have their snout peeking up over the ice.
Yeah.
It's a process that's similar to hibernation,
I've
and
been
I guess
seeing
their
that a lot lately.
heart rate lowers considerably.
Yeah, I know they adjust to it. I mean, they've been doing it for
Ever.
a while. Yeah.
Yeah, don't be there when it thaws. Pro tip.
Nope.
I'm good.
Hard pass. An ambulance service in Wales is revealing its most absurd calls. It includes one person who ate too much kebab, someone who got their hand stuck in a mailbox, And a call for missing false teeth.
I mean, like, look, if you lose your teeth, that is an emergency.
I want to hear that phone call.
I talk like this. I lost my teeth.
But with a Wales accent.
Lost my bloody teeth. That's probably what it would be. Poor thing. I'd rather be the guy who's OD'd on kebab, personally.
Yeah, geez.
But,
he thought he was having a heart attack.
Yeah, that's just me. I've had those days. Now we want to give you a live look at our roadways this morning. We are under a dense fog advisory, and you could really see the fog showing up on this camera, I-70 and I-75.
Yeah, it looks like a scary movie out there. We're going to send things over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, when will the fog start to clear?
I would say mid to late morning. So think about 10 a.m. That's where the dense fog is going to, a dense fog advisory, does expire. I think that's about the point where we will likely see the fog go out if it is going to stick around. This is the point where we start talking about how dense it is. Point 1 at Troy, point 8 at Springfield. Point 1 in Troy, that's for all intents and purposes pea soup fog or really dense fog. Half-mile visibility or lower, that's problematic. Once you start getting above 1 and 2, that's where you start talking about more of a fog haze style event. As for temperatures this morning, all stuck in the 40s. So that is why we have a ton of moisture and the air is cooled down to basically the dew point. And that's why for right today, we're going to be foggy early with periods of showers and temperatures well above average during the day. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, if you are traveling, so far we really don't have that many issues. Do have one over by 35 where it splits over in the Xenia area. That's about it thus far. Really not seeing anything else at this hour.
Now we head to Greenville, where crews cleaned up for hours last night after a train derailment.
It resulted in 3 tanker cars overturned, all carrying ethanol. Melena Brown joins us live. Melena, are cleanup crews still out there?
They are not, Nathan. It does appear that the cleanup crews were able to get this as cleaned up as possible and get any of the carts that derailed off the track. I have gone up and down these tracks. It is clear now. As the sun comes up and as we're able to get a little bit closer, you will be able to see that there is a lot of dirt, and obviously the tracks need to be repaired. This all happening at the intersections of State Route 49 and 571. And like you just said, Nathan, we do know that 3 of those carts that overturned did contain ethanol. Now, the initial call for this incident came in around noon yesterday. As of right now, officials say none of the tanks carrying ethanol were damaged enough to cause any leaking or spillage. Greenville police and fire crews tell us there's no reported hazmat issues, adding the derailment didn't injure anyone in the area. Despite previous hazardous train derailments like the one we saw in East Palestine happening just less than 1 year ago, experts tell us trains may still be the safest option.
There's truck and pipeline. Truck is more dangerous and pipeline is very limited because there's not much flexibility. So there are alternatives, but they're not better alternatives, I don't think.
Now, the company that owned the train that derailed, it's the R.J. Corman Railroad Group. They are heading up here today and plan to speak to the public and the media. We'll be there and we'll bring you anything they tell us here on air and online. Back to you.
Former President Donald Trump is celebrating another big win this morning. He's now the only person to win the New Hampshire primary 3 times. The former president came in at just over 54.5%. That's 11 points more than former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, who got 43% of the vote. Last night's victory makes a rematch with President Biden even more likely. The Trump campaign is now expected to shift focus to the general election and take aim at the president.
You took the 10 worst presidents in the history of this not great country right now. It's a country in decline. They would not have done the damage that crooked Joe Biden has done to our wonderful country.
Greg Lagerquist with our Portland's main sister station is at a diner in Manchester, New Hampshire, where the state and the nation are beginning to digest the news.
Well, like the coffee here at the famous Red Arrow Diner in Manchester, some strong words from Donald Trump last night, seemingly eager to wrap up this nomination and annoyed that Nikki Haley is still in it. For her part, though, Haley making it clear that like pancake syrup, she plans to stick, at least for now.
Well, I have news for all of them. New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation. This race is far from over.
I could tell you 5 reasons why already. Not big reasons, a little stuff that she doesn't want to talk about, but she will be under investigation within minutes.
Donald Trump ramped up his, at times, unspecified attacks on Nikki Haley at his victory event in Nashua Tuesday night. As expected, the Republican base in New Hampshire stuck firmly with Trump. All week, we heard from Trump supporters who said a big win is exactly what they wanted and expected.
What is it about him? I don't know. I just like him. Just like how he acts and works and does things.
While for Trump opponents, it's exactly what they dreaded.
He's a liar.
Still, even in a weird year with a sitting president as a write-in on one side and unusually few campaign visits and choices on the other, the people of New Hampshire feel this morning they did their part, turning out in big numbers and helping America decide.
It's a civic right and responsibility.
Very important. I've been involved in politics a long time, starting with Eisenhower.
But did New Hampshire deliver a definitive verdict? Donald Trump believes they did.
We have to do what's good for our party. And she was up and I said, wow, she's doing like a speech like she won. She didn't win, she lost.
And lose she did, although the former South Carolina governor is already moving on to her home state right now, where she has campaign events planned and a big ad buy down there. So while the New Hampshire primary may be over, this nomination fight is not, at least not yet. Reporting here in Manchester, New Hampshire, I'm Greg Lagerquist.
Here's a look at the results for the Democratic primary. President Biden just got over half of the vote, but is still more than 30 points ahead of his nearest rival, Congressman Dean Phillips. Now, the Associated Press says 14% of write-ins are still in process. The Minnesota lawmaker says he's staying in the race.
Congratulations to President Biden, who absolutely won tonight, but by no means in a way that a strong incumbent president should, but I respect him. He won. We're going to go to South Carolina, then we're going to go to Michigan, then we're going to go to 47 other states, and I'm going to see you all around.
Now here's a look at the upcoming Republican primary dates. The next contests are Nevada, Virgin Island caucuses on February 8th. Then in exactly 1 month, South Carolina will have the first in the South primary. It's an important primary for Nikki Haley, who served as that state's governor. Then the candidates will head to Michigan February 27th. Ohio's primary is March 19th. Coming up this morning at 8:45, we'll be talking with Wright State University political science professor Lee Hanna to break down last night's primary results and what this all means as we get closer to the November race. We'll have that for you on Fox 45.
Israel is offering Hamas a 2-month pause in fighting if they release all remaining hostages in Gaza, according to ACOs. While it wouldn't bring an end to the war, it would be the longest ceasefire to date. Israel says more than 130 hostages are being held. It would mean redeploying Israeli defense forces and moving them out of main population centers so civilians can return.
After nearly 2 years of delays, Turkey has approved Sweden's bid to join NATO. The Turkish president is expected to sign the ratification into law any day now. He previously stalled Sweden's bid by accusing the country of being too lenient towards groups it considers terrorists. Now, Hungary is the only country blocking Sweden's approval. Every member of nation NATO must approve for a country to join.
For the first time since the establishment of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, the U.S. has no money to offer to support Kyiv's war efforts. The U.S. hosting the monthly gathering of roughly 50 countries yesterday. The Pentagon can't send Ukraine any more ammunition or missiles. Congress hasn't yet passed a budget or approved more aid to Ukraine, so U.S. defense officials are encouraging allies to fill the financial gap.
If we lose our nerve, if we flinch, if we fail to deter other would-be aggressors, we will only invite even more bloodshed and more chaos.
Over $110 billion in aid for both Ukraine and Israel is currently in limbo.
Without the help from the U.S., concerns are growing this morning, over whether or not Ukraine can win the war against Russia. While the Pentagon won't say whether Ukraine will lose without U.S. military aid, They're stating that the threat is real.
Our time right now is 5:40. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Here's a live look.
All right, we got a lot coming up and stretching your dollar just in time for Valentine's Day. Start saving your pennies for your loved one.
You're watching Your Day.
Showers still continue across most of the area, but the heaviest rain just lurking off to the south. Not that it's that much different, but you can see there's yellows up around Johnson, down towards the southwest tip of Cincinnati. So I would not be shocked here in at least a little bit that we start to see some of the rain pick up. Now, meanwhile, it's going to be a deluge of rain today, tomorrow. And you go back to yesterday, we got some periods of not necessarily intense rain per se, but some heavier periods. So frankly, it's going to be a very wet trio of days, but it's also a warm one. Today, temperatures low 50s. I mean, that's pretty incredibly warm for this time of year. We will see some mid 50s though for tomorrow. So somehow tomorrow is going to be even milder, but beyond tomorrow, temperatures do start to retreat down towards average. So enjoy the mild weather while it lasts, but unfortunately, it's also going to be very wet while that is happening.
We're less than a month away from Valentine's Day, and while we want to show our sweethearts we love them, we don't have to break the bank.
Elise Coulter breaks down some easy ways you can still share the love while not spending an arm and a leg.
You don't have to spend nearly $200 to show your love or have a memorable, fantastic time with your significant other. Here's some cheap, easy ways to spend the upcoming holiday. Number one, enjoy a movie and dinner at home. Yes, it is always nice to go out for a good meal, but who says you can't make something just as nice at home and for way less? And of course, you can stream a newer movie on any of the streaming services you already have and pay for. And how about hit the open road, grab some cozy clothes, hot coffee, tea or hot chocolate, and a few snacks, and just go for a scenic drive. Sometimes the best time spent together is just when it's the two of you. And another great way to spend time together, go window shopping for your dream furniture in your home. It gets you talking and daydreaming about the future, and it's just an easy and cheap way to spend time with one another. Next, take a trip down memory lane. Personally, my husband and I have been together 18 years, so we've changed a lot in that time, and pulling out an old photo book or even just going through pictures on social media is always a lot of fun for us, and really it is just great quality time together as well. Lastly, this idea takes a little patience, maybe even some creativity, but go on a date to a thrift store, challenge yourself to spend only $10 and find the perfect gift for your special someone. Whether it's a vintage book or maybe jewelry box that plays their favorite song, either way, it's a win. A special, thoughtful gift and quality time together. And if money's tight or you just don't want to go overboard spending on a hyped up holiday, you can't go wrong with a sincere love letter and a one-on-one time spent with one another. Guys, back to you.
We want to know how you're stretching your dollar. Grab your phone and scan the QR code.
And you can chime in a picture or video and share your money-saving tips. You may see them featured right here on Your Day.
Our time right now is 5:46, still to come.
Janae Bowens here in Washington with a look at why you will have to start paying more for Ozempic.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
A new year means higher prices for Americans on medicines like Ozempic and Mounjaro. Janae Bowens explains the reasons for the price hikes and what you can do to save money.
I would have been on a waiting list sometimes with, trying to get the drug.
Dr. Linda Tousse told our San Antonio station how Ozempic has helped her manage her diabetes over the last few years. But recently, it's been harder to get and more expensive.
I have the highest level of all kinds of Medicare assistance, Part A, B, D, and G, and it's still $275 a month.
According to an analysis for the Wall Street Journal by 46 Brooklyn Research, drug makers raised list prices on 775 brand name drugs during the first half of January. Ozempic, which is also used for weight loss, went up by 3.5% to nearly $970.
Sadly, it's because as an industry, they can. And for a long time, drug costs have increased faster than inflation. It's not uncommon at each of these six-month cycles for us to see drug costs go up 3%, 6%, 9%.
The pharmaceutical companies blame it on market trends, inflation, and the value the drugs provide. But Paul Siegert, a healthcare consultant, says there are other factors when it comes to the price you end up paying at the pharmacy.
There are middle players in our industry, pharmacy benefit managers, that make more and more, oftentimes on a drug each year that it's out, while the manufacturers actually make less, even though the cost is going up.
No matter who deserves the blame, these price hikes can hurt folks like Toussé, who need these life-changing drugs.
I'm really healthier than I've been in many years.
To save money, experts suggest you look for these medicines in other countries and look for lesser-known medication brands that do the same thing. In Washington, Janae Bowens.
Our time right now, 5:51. Many Barbie fans feeling confused after the list of Oscar nominees were released. Just ahead, Ryan Gosling's statement on the list and who's left out.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning, and here's a view over Beaver Creek, where this morning we are waking up to cloudy skies and some patchy fog. I say patchy because it really has come and gone as the morning has gone on. We do have some areas that are quite dense and other areas where, well, frankly, Springboro, Miamisburg area, where there's not much fog at all. Let's take the wide view look at the rain, where it continues to come down. Heaviest rain now about to enter the Cincinnati actual metro area. So keep in mind this morning there could be some bursts of moderate rainfall to be had. Once they get into the afternoon, I think that the rain will maybe not break up, but there will be a little bit more of a lull from this afternoon, evening, overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, here we go again. More showers move in. It's going to be probably another wet period up until we get into Friday. Now, Friday itself, I think it's a completely different style environment. That we'll touch on in just a second. For today and also tomorrow, temperatures are going to be in the 50s, and at worst will drop down in the 40s. So we're very much so mild. Now back to Friday. The reason why I say it's completely different is that's a day where we'll probably wake up to temperatures around 50, but they'll be sliding throughout the daytime, eventually in the 30s and 40s. That's the dry day. By Saturday night to Sunday, more wet weather is possible. Next week starts out near average with temperatures upper 30s and low 40s. So at least that's something to look forward to. Now, meanwhile, if you're driving, something I don't think we're looking forward to, but you're going to have to deal with is, well, a little bit of fog. Right for now, our camera's not showing a whole lot of fog. There was a lot of fog earlier at Wilmington Pike in 70 and 75, but right for now, it doesn't seem like we're seeing as much. Of course, It could become denser as we get in the morning. We're pointing out one incident right now, US 35 West at the Business Road 35. That is, you head into Xenia.
The cicadas are coming. The cicadas are coming. Yeah, that's right. Remember those 13 and 17-year broods? Well, the Midwest is getting hit by it again this summer. Luckily for us, they'll be more towards Illinois. Thank God. Those things are nasty. According to experts, some trillion cicadas will begin to appear in late April for about 6 weeks. People living in the Midwest and Southeast across 16 states will be able to experience the event. After they emerge and molt, the males will start buzzing to find a mate, and the noise will be louder than a plane. Ugh.
Can't wait. It was the year of Barbie. The movie set box office records in the United States and around the world, but some Barbie fans were disappointed when the two key women who made it were left out of the Oscar nominees. Actor Ryan Gosling, who was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Ken, releasing a statement that said, in part, quote, "There is no Ken without Barbie, and there is no Barbie movie without Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie, the two people most responsible for this history-making, globally celebrated film," unquote. Gosling says he was very disappointed the two were not nominated in their categories.
Check this out. A resident in Cleveland decided to show his team's spirit this week with the snow and a 9-foot snowman of Joe Flacco. I love it. Pays tribute to the great things the star quarterback did for the Browns this season. The guy that made it calls the snowman Snow Flacco. That's so good. Well, the Browns season may be over. They're hoping to keep Joe Flacco for another year. Snow Flacco. I love that.
Is that because he's ice cold?
Well, I mean, yeah. Cold in the playoffs. It was not good. But, hey, I enjoyed the ride, and we exceeded expectations this year with 5 different starting quarterbacks. So, and we made the playoffs, and the Bengals didn't. What?
I don't know who this person is. So.
You don't know who Joe Flacco?
No.
Okay. Yay, sports. Our time right now is 5:57. We got a lot more coming up on your day at 6 a.m.
Everything we know about a train derailment in Greenville is next.
The man accused of leading police on a dramatic chase down US 35 will now be in court next Tuesday. Just add why the court date was pushed back.
You're watching Your Day. Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here's 3 quick stories to get your day started. The Dayton Flyers are on a roll. The men's basketball team now winning 13 in a row, beating LaSalle last night 66-54.
There's some serious Flyer fever right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the games are always packed, and yeah, the team's rocking and rolling.
Oh, I'd love to go to a game.
Oh,
it's so fun.
It's great. So much fun. And tomorrow, the Boonshoffs holding a birthday party for their otters. They're turning 8. Can you believe that? You could celebrate by showing up at 4 o'clock for the Otter Talk.
They're so stinking cute.
Yeah, they're like, ah! Yeah.
Little drunk babies.
What's cool is like the little ones, kids, when they go up to the window to see the otters will come up and look at them and then go and run around and jump.
Have you seen the one zoo that has like the little, they have little holes, they can stick their arms out and people can like rub their paws? They apparently like being like their paws being rubbed.
They probably bite me, not gonna lie.
No, it's like a really tiny hole. They can only fit their little paws out.
Oh, okay. That'd be interesting.
Oyster Fest starts tonight at Lily's Bistro. Get some oyster classics at the restaurant through February 4th.
I do love me some seafood on occasion.
Same. I mean, this kind of oyster definitely I can do.
Not the other ones?
I can do it. I don't prefer it. I'm more of a mussels girl.
I like mussels are so good. I do like fried oysters, and I also like the oysters Rockefeller.
Yeah, those are
like I said earlier, I had a po' boy. So good.
This morning, a roadway in Greenville is back open after a train derailment involving highly flammable liquid.
Crews worked through the night to clean up 3 tanker cars, all carrying ethanol. Melena Brown joins us live this morning. Melena, how do things look out there this morning?
Right now, things look much better than they did just hours ago yesterday. Now, we can see here behind me, this is the train tracks. There are no more carts. They have been able to get all of those picked up. Now, further down the road, there is some dirt up and upturned. But other than that, this is completely clear. And it all happened right here at this intersection of State Route 49 and 571. And as you just mentioned, Nathan, those 3 cars that overturned did contain ethanol. Now, this incident, when the call came in, was around noon yesterday. As of right now, officials say none of the tanks carrying ethanol were damaged enough to cause any leaking or spillage. Greenville police and fire crews tell us there's no reported hazmat issues, adding the derailment didn't injure anyone in the area. Now, despite previous hazardous train derailments like the one we saw in East Palestine happening just less than 1 year ago, experts tell us trains may still be the safest option.
There's truck and pipeline. Truck is more dangerous and pipeline is very limited because there's not much flexibility. So there are alternatives, but they're not better alternatives, I don't think.
Now, the company that owns the train that was traveling, it is the R.J. Corman Railroad Group. They are expected to come here today. I can tell you I actually just saw one of their trucks pull in this area. They will be speaking to us and the public at some point throughout the morning. As soon as we know more, we will bring you those updates here on air and online. Back to you.
Here's what we're looking at this morning. Some patchy, dense fog. Really not as bad Dayton, Springfield, Urbana, Bellefontaine, but out to the west of Dayton, that's where there's still some spots of dense fog as you head out the door in the morning hours. Dense fog advisory, though, issued for the entire area because there is an opportunity for this fog to thicken up. So it's not necessarily the type of morning where I'd go to a proverbial sleep on it. Now, as for today, the temperatures are in the 40s. We will see temperatures eventually get into the 50s, not only today, but also for tomorrow. It is going to be, by and large, a warm day overall. So this is just one of those patterns that screams, you know what, enjoy it while it lasts. Now, if you are traveling, again, there are some dense spots. State Road 49, that is, I believe, or 41, excuse me, that is in Miami County. That is where we're seeing the fog thickest on our cams this morning. 70 and 75, a little bit of fog. You have one incident, and that has since been cleared up now. That was at 35 in the Business Road 35 in Xenia.
The man accused of leading police on this dramatic chase down US 35 right here and firing at officers and crashing into cruisers will be in court next Tuesday. A judge is delaying James Skirvin's arraignment. The 54-year-old is facing several charges for the events that led up to the chase and crash. Investigators say Skirvin and his adult daughter with his truck at the hit her with his truck at the Voyager Village mobile home park. When officers got there, they say he pointed a weapon at them when he started the chase. Skirvin's truck crashed into a Montgomery County Sheriff's cruiser and then landed on top of a cruiser in Trotwood. Skirvin's still in the hospital. Prosecutors say they expect to file more charges.
A man responsible for a fiery car crash is now waiting to learn his fate. A jury convicted John Schmidt of burglary and assault. Prosecutors say he crashed into a car in Greene County last year. He then broke into a home and assaulted a couple inside, seriously injuring the husband. He faces up to 20.5 years in prison when he's sentenced.
Springfield police want your help finding this man right here behind me. They say 40-year-old Tyron Dearmond shot a man last month. Now, it happened on West Euclid Avenue in Springfield. The victim, 53-year-old Edward Ellington, died in the hospital. Dearmond is now facing murder, assault, and other weapons charges. If you have information that could lead to his arrest, call Springfield Police right away. That number's on your screen, 937-324-7716.
We're learning new details for the funeral of former Springfield Mayor Warren Copeland. There's a visitation set for Saturday, February 3rd at the Springfield City Hall. It's scheduled to start at 2 in the afternoon. There will then be a celebration of life the next day, Sunday, February 4th. That'll be inside the Wittenberg University Fieldhouse.
Miami County Sheriff's Office needs your help looking for this man right here. Officials say he's been missing for a week. Willie Couch III was last seen January 16th in Union Township. Couch is 53 years old, 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, with blue eyes and brown hair. He's also a U.S. Army veteran. Authorities warn he may be dealing with mental distress. If you have information about where he might be, call 911 or the Miami County Communications Center. That number's on your screen, 937-440-9911.
Centerville City Schools are now looking to cut back in the upcoming school year. That's if the district's $3.9 million operating levy passes in March. A previous levy vote failed in November. Now the district is lowering their request. Here's what the district is planning. They'll get rid of 4 teaching positions, cut 10.5 classified positions. That'll include people like paraprofessionals, custodians, bus drivers, and clerical positions. The district will also get rid of 11 academic volunteer building coordinator stipends and hire essential staff at the lowest starting salary. The district will also increase preschool tuition by 10%. If the March levy fails, more cuts will be on the way.
Today, Montgomery County will start the annual point-in-time count to determine just how many people are unsheltered in the county. It's a requirement for federal funding to help homelessness starting at 3:30. 6 teams of volunteers will go out and count everyone they can find who's experiencing homelessness and not in shelters in a single night. One expert says it's clear something is missing.
So where we are really not meeting the needs is with safe, affordable housing. So that's the answer to homelessness. It's housing. A shelter is a necessary crisis safety support in our community, but it's not the answer to homelessness.
The final count will also include people in shelters and will be released in March.
Community leaders across the Miami Valley are joining together to combat hunger in the area. The Super Bowl of Caring is helping to eliminate child hunger in Dayton. Our partners will be accepting food and monetary donations throughout the area. Those donations will then be distributed to 3 local organizations: the Food Bank for the Love of Children or FLOC and the House of Bread. You can help by taking out your phone and scanning this QR code to make a donation. You have until February 12th.
Our time right now is 6:09. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
An Amazon driver showing how a simple act of kindness can go a long way. Just ahead, why he chose to shovel snow for someone in need.
You're watching Your Day.
It's often the simple things that mean the most to people, and that's definitely the case for an Ohio man who was surprised to see his Amazon driver offer an act of kindness in a time of need.
It's the gentleman. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself, sir?
God bless you.
It was a reunion filled with gratitude.
I wasn't looking for no recognition or anything because I just know that
you were overdue for it.
And disbelief.
I was wondering if I was ever going to meet you again or able to rush to the door to see you.
Don Wheeler and Jaquan Fletcher first crossed paths last week when Jaquan was delivering a package for Amazon to Don's house and provided a bonus service.
I'm coming up and I see that his rampway is snowed in. I'm like, I'll take the stairs. I'll deliver the package, take a picture of it, make sure it's there. I'll look over. I'm like, well, there's a shovel here, so I said I might as well just shovel it for him really quick.
Because Don is limited to a wheelchair, that snowed-in ramp shut him off to the outside world. In the past, it would take him hours, sometimes days, to clear himself. But the surprise delivery of Jaquan's simple act of service,
He opened the door and said, God bless you, sir.
restored Don's hope in humanity.
What touched me the most is when I came out and thanked you, you just smiled and kept going. Yeah. You weren't like, hey, tag me on this or tag me on that.
Oh, yeah, no.
You
like
just
I said,
kept doing what you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant an awful lot. That told me that it came from the heart.
News 5 later learned Jaquan shoveled a couple of the homes in the neighborhood. Why do you do it?
To be as heartwarming towards another human being, a gesture, a simple gesture, a smile, a high five. To me, it was just shoveling snow.
For Jaquan, it's a small deed.
I didn't really think that this would get this popular as much as I thought it would. So I'm just looking out for another human being.
I greatly appreciate it.
While for people like Don, it's the bit of hope he needed.
The world needs a little more of you in it. It touched my heart, and my heart cried in joy.
That's an amazing story, and I think about all the neighbors when I was growing up and how grateful they were my dad and a snow blower and me with the shovel, just coming and getting them taken care of. Obviously, if you've got any kids, always a good option for them to maybe earn a couple bucks or just do a really good deed, go out to the neighbors and shovel. As for this morning, forget about the snow, we're talking about rain. We're still continuing to see periods of moderate rainfall move in towards the Miami Valley, in particular down around the Hamilton area, Lebanon and Springboro. You're up next, and there could be some periods of more intense rainfall, which means that it's not going to be particularly that nice. What we have seen is the visibility get better across the southern part of our area. In fact, the National Weather Service actually eliminated part of the area from the dense fog advisory, so don't have as much concern in that area over the fog. Now, as for this morning, there's still a lot of fog out in the Miami Valley. In particular, it's up to the north, up around the Troy, Tip City area. There you can see bottom right image, the fog there. Also top right image, that's 70 and 75. So the Vandalia area also could be seeing some fog. Right for now, though, no crashes or tie-ups in around the Dayton area.
Our time right now is 6:15. You're watching Your Day.
Good morning. Here's the view right now over Beaver Creek where it's sopping wet. We've had fog. It has been, frankly, kind of one of those mornings you look at and you go, oh. But anyway, point of the matter is it's still going to be a wet morning overall. We'll continue to see showers pretty much throughout the first half of the day. It's not until the afternoon that we'll start to see the showers break up. In the interim, we could actually get some periods of more intense rainfall. No temperatures should be able to get to around 50. So there'll be a window this afternoon and evening where it's mild, maybe not shorts and t-shirt, but certainly probably for some of us, not even true jacket weather, more of a, let's say, a springtime sweatshirt weather. But from that point on, we will continue to see some scattered showers overnight tonight. We could drop into the 40s, maybe upper 30, but based on how much moisture, that would take a lot. And frankly, this is a scenario where we would see a whole lot of fog. I'm thinking at the present point, we'll probably be ballpark mid 40s for tomorrow morning. And then from there, we should be able to rise into the 50s. Difference is, again, tomorrow afternoon and evening, more rain is likely. And that'll continue into parts of Friday, where Friday, we'll see temperatures slide second half of the day. By the time we get into Saturday and Sunday, it'll be down somewhere around average. You know, it's tough to say exactly how you define average, but let's just call it, for all intents and purposes, average on Sunday. As for this morning, I haven't seen any types or concerns across the area. It's been relatively quiet all across the board. Just pretty thick fog here and there, especially in Miami County and also over towards 70 and 75. Starting to see the fog picking up in that direction.
Our time right now is 6:20. Digital producer Max waiting in the wings. Your Facebook poll question coming up in minutes.
You're watching Your Day. It is time for Pet of the Day here on Your Day, where we celebrate your pets. And today we got one that I looked at and I went, ah, yes, that could be my dog, except my dog likes to be in the front right seat.
This dog evidently likes to look out the back. But you know what? I'm not going to argue with it because it is the type of day where it is just going to be a wet one. And for some of the dogs, maybe just better off to throw them in a car and take them on a road trip, right? That's what I'm going to be doing with mine. Yellow paws across the board, so we are going to be talking about more wet weather and probably more muddy paws across the area. So that is something to keep in mind. Keep in mind that also tomorrow is going to be just as wet, so you're going to have to pick and choose your spots. When it's a little bit drier, get out there, maybe get the dogs on a walk. One thing you won't have to worry about, a jacket for you or the dogs. Temperatures will be in the 50s. How about that, right? 50s here in the middle of January, or I guess tail end of January. As for this morning, if you are driving, so far it's been a quiet morning commute. Optimistically, we could see the fog mixing out here in the not too distant future. Pessimistically, it's quite foggy. So attention out on the roads, not attention on things like the radio or what you are eating during your morning commute.
Yeah, digital producer Max joins us now to talk about a possible option for the road.
Also, I got to say, Nick, I love that the pet of the day, peanut. Great choice because
I didn't even realize that.
Today is National Peanut Butter Day. Do not make peanut butter out of the dog. We're talking about what do you put peanut butter on besides bread? Are there any other good options?
Like, look, I don't really like peanut butter all that much.
You're the only one.
I don't know. It's just like, it's not my go-to. I'm kind of like indifferent to it, but if I have to put it on anything other than bread, it'd probably be apples or celery. I do love ants on a log with raisins.
Do you like Reese's?
I do like Reese's.
Okay.
But you don't put peanut butter on Reese's cups.
It's just, if there's peanut butter in there, we'll get into this.
Peanut butter and chocolate are a match made in heaven, and I'm okay with that in desserts, but just eating peanut butter, no, I'm good.
Sure.
I don't even like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That's a hot take.
I mean, I'll eat them, but I don't care.
I don't like them either.
Okay, so to answer your poll question, no, I do not put any peanut butter on anything else besides bread. But what I also never eat peanut butter in general. So.
Your husband's allergic, remember?
Fair.
Yeah, so.
On occasion, I'll sneak a little.
So Nick, you can answer the poll question, right?
Yes, I can. So carrots and celery, or here's a pro tip, get a good thing of chocolate bar, put the peanut butter on top. That is a charcuterie version of a peanut butter cup.
Max, real quick, we gotta go.
Perfect. Personally, oatmeal, because I love oatmeal. Put some peanut butter on there and a banana. Mwah, delicious.
Chef's kiss. There you go.
Chef's kiss.
All right, I learned I'm in the minority this morning on hating on peanut butter. Our time right now is 6:26, still to come.
Everything we know about a train derailment in Greenville is coming up next.
Former President Donald Trump is celebrating another big win, just had the results from New Hampshire.
But first, here's Julie Moran with America Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Noki.
There is nothing more frustrating than when you want to take a photo and your phone says, storage full, and it always happens at the most inconvenient times. I was just at my godson's wedding and I took hundreds of photos. If I had had the Click Free Pro, I would have loaded them onto this and gifted him one of these as a keepsake of his special day. And the Click Free Pro can store thousands of photos and videos while fitting easily in your hand. You know, other storage options they're bulky, they're expensive, and sometimes you need other accessories to work with different devices. Well, this has a port. Look at this. Look how easily that went in for each device. So you can use it with your laptop or your tablet. It's light and it's a great deal. The Click Free app, this is really cool, allows you to scan old photos so they don't sit on a shelf or a box anymore. And also, this is really cool. I love this little carrying case. It's cute. They come in lots of different colors, just perfect. Right now, we are offering 50% off. Did you hear what I said? Get this, 50% off on the Click Free Pro. So I want you to head over to asadeals.com for this exclusive offer. And believe me, these are going to go very, very quickly.
Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 stories to get your day started. A woman in California started a blockbuster-themed movie library in her front yard. You may see that kind of the same concept around. Usually you see books in it, but the free boxes are filled with DVDs people can borrow or even add to the collection.
I wonder how many people in our neighborhood have a VHS player still.
That's a good question.
Or DVD player for that
not
matter.
Very many. Yeah, I mean, even a DVD player, most people don't have anymore.
We have like a PS4 and that plays DVDs, but that's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
I did buy a VHS at a thrift store just to have one.
I don't know if we do anymore.
It's great.
At our house.
It's like, yeah.
That's crazy.
Bygone generation.
Ugh.
And alligators are showing off one of the ways they cope with freezing temps. Check out this video showing a gator suspended in frozen water. You can see the tip of the snout right there, just kind of hanging out of the water as it looks like they're sleeping. I guess their heartbeat slows considerably as they kind of just exist in the water.
That is terrifying. I mean, I cannot imagine just walking past the water and seeing a little
It's better
snout
than
poking out.
But you know what? It's better than iguanas who just fall out of trees stunned.
True.
So I mean,
That's
at least
true.
they're in a more comfortable, safe space.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't do that, idiot.
Don't touch the gator.
Oh my gosh. So stupid.
Boop the
An
nose.
ambulance service in Wales is revealing its most absurd calls. It includes one person who ate too much kebab,
Yeah.
someone who got their hands stuck in a mailbox, and a call for missing false teeth.
Yeah.
I would definitely, if I ate too much food. Woo.
Call
We
911.
all know what it feels like to be in a food coma.
Been there, done that, but not enough to call the police or an
mean-
ambulance or something. But kebab, different story.
Yeah.
Now a live look at our roadways this morning. We're waking up to some thick fog. You can especially see it here at
Ugh.
I-75 and State Route 41.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but my drive-in was definitely a little spooky, a little eerie this morning. So we're going to go ahead and send things over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, when will the fog start to clear as people are heading out the door?
Well, what we're looking at right now is the densest fog across the northern 2/3 part of our area. But in particular, if you're looking for the densest fog, it's been really Troy area and over towards Greenville, Richmond. So west and north of Dayton itself as you head out into Preble counties, over into Richmond County, as well as Darke County, and in particular, Miami County as well. Temperatures this morning all in the 40s. Frankly, we are talking about mild weather for today overall. I mean, especially when you consider that the average high this time of year is in the upper 30s, and we started this morning at midnight at 44, 45, depending on where you are. This has been a very mild day overall, but we are continuing to see at least some areas of dense fog, and in particular, again, State Road 41, that's been the spot that I've had my eye on. Also been watching 70 and 75. The fog has come and gone. We've had some periods where it's gotten really dense there, and also some periods where it's kind of fallen by the wayside. Right now, it's somewhere in between. Again, there is some density here or there when it comes to the fog.
Now we head to Greenville, where crews cleaned up for hours last night after a train derailment.
It resulted in 3 tanker cars overturned, all carrying ethanol. Melina Brown joins us live. Melina, are cleanup crews still out there?
They are not, Nathan. I'm going to take a step out so you can see there are no cars left that overturned, but what you can see is all of that dirt right over the railroad tracks, all of this where it had to be cleaned up. You can even see tire tracks. I'll show you right here as well, some humongous tire tracks from all of those crews coming in to get this scene cleaned up. All of this happening on the intersection of State Route 49 and 571. And as you mentioned, Nathan, we do know 3 of the cars that overturned did contain ethanol. Now, the initial call that came in for this incident was at noon yesterday. As of right now, officials say none of the tanks carrying ethanol were damaged enough to cause any leaking or spillage. Greenville police and fire crews tell us there's no reported hazmat issues, adding that the derailment didn't injure anyone in the area. Despite previous hazardous train derailments like the one we saw in East Palestine happening just less than 1 year ago, experts tell us trains may still be the safest option.
There's truck and pipeline. Truck is more dangerous and pipeline is very limited because there's not much flexibility. So there are alternatives, but they're not better alternatives, I don't think.
Now, the company that owned the train, it's R.J. Corman Railroad Group, they've already been in the area this morning. I was able to see one of their trucks. They're expected to speak to the public and the media at some point today. We will be there for that, and as soon as we have new information, we'll bring you updates here on air and online. Back to you.
Former President Donald Trump is celebrating another big win. He's now the only person to win the New Hampshire primary 3 times. The former president came in at just over 54.5%. That's 11 points more than former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, who got 43% of the vote. Last night's victory makes a rematch with President Biden even more likely. The Trump campaign is now expected to shift focus to the general election and take aim at the president.
If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of this not great country right now, it's a country in decline, they would not have done the damage that crooked Joe Biden has done to our wonderful country.
Greg Lagerquist with our Portland, Maine sister station is at a diner in Manchester, New Hampshire, where the state and the nation are beginning to digest the news.
Well, like the coffee here at the famous Red Arrow Diner in Manchester, some strong words from Donald Trump last night, seemingly eager to wrap up this nomination and annoyed that Nikki Haley is still in it. For her part, though, Haley making it clear that like pancake syrup, she plans to stick, at least for now.
Well, I have news for all of them. New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation. This race is far from over.
I could tell you 5 reasons why already. Not big reasons, a little stuff that she doesn't want to talk about, but she will be under investigation within minutes.
Donald Trump ramped up his, at times, unspecified attacks on Nikki Haley at his victory event in Nashua Tuesday night. As expected, the Republican base in New Hampshire stuck firmly with Trump. All week, we heard from Trump supporters who said a big win is exactly what they wanted and expected.
What is it about him? I don't know. I just like him. Just like how he acts and works and does things.
While for Trump opponents, it's exactly what they dreaded.
He's a liar.
Still, even in a weird year with a sitting president as a write-in on one side and unusually few campaign visits and choices on the other, the people of New Hampshire feel this morning they did their part, turning out in big numbers and helping America decide.
It's a civic right and responsibility.
Very important. I've been involved in politics a long time, starting with Eisenhower.
But did New Hampshire deliver a definitive verdict? Donald Trump believes they did.
We have to do what's good for our party. And she was up and I said, wow, she's doing like a speech like she won. She didn't win, she lost. And lose she did, although the former South Carolina governor is already moving on to her home state right now, where she has campaign events planned and a big ad buy down there. So while the New Hampshire primary may be over, this nomination fight is not, at least not yet. Reporting here in Manchester, New Hampshire, I'm Greg Lagerquist.
Here's a look at the results from the Democratic primary. President Biden just got more than half of the vote, but is still more than 30 points ahead of his nearest rival, Congressman Dean Phillips. The Associated Press says 14% of write-ins are still in process. The Minnesota lawmaker says he's staying in the race.
Congratulations to President Biden, who absolutely won tonight, but by no means in a way that a strong incumbent president should, but I respect him. He won. We're going to go to South Carolina, then we're going to go to Michigan, then we're going to go to 47 other states, and I'm going to see you all around.
Now here's a look at the upcoming Republican primary dates. The next contests are the Nevada and Virgin Island caucuses on February 8th. And then in exactly 1 month, South Carolina will have the first in the South primary. It's an important primary for Nikki Haley, who served as that state's governor. Then the candidates will head to Michigan February 27th. Ohio's primary is March 19th. Coming up this morning at 8:45, we'll be talking with Wright State political science professor Lee Hanna to break down last night's primary results and what this means as we get closer to the November election. We'll have that for you on Fox 45.
Israel is offering Hamas a 2-month pause in fighting if they release all remaining hostages in Gaza, according to Axios. While it wouldn't bring an end to the war, it would be the longest ceasefire to date. Israel says more than 130 hostages are being held. It would mean redeploying Israeli defense forces and moving them out of main population centers so civilians can return.
After nearly 2 years of delays, Turkey's approved Sweden's bid to join NATO. The Turkish president is expected to sign the ratification into law any day now. He previously stalled Sweden's bid by accusing the country of being too lenient towards groups to consider as terrorists. Now Hungary is the only country blocking Sweden's approval. Every member nation of NATO must approve for a country to join.
The Department of Justice is looking for more information from Six Flags and Cedar Fair on their proposed $8 billion merger. That's according to Reuters. This comes when many recent U.S. deals are facing antitrust scrutiny, like the proposed JetBlue Spirit merger that was blocked. Both Six Flags and Cedar Fair say they'll comply with the DOJ request and still expect the merger to close sometime in the first half of the year.
Our time right now is 6:42. Don't forget to get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A fiery sunrise and an icy lake during recent frigid conditions along parts of Kentucky Lake, a reservoir stretching between Kentucky and Tennessee. Things got cold enough in Oakwood, Virginia for this large icicle to form. And in the mountains near Las Vegas, visitors got a brief winter wonderland treat Monday when the snowball started sticking around 7,000 feet above sea level.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Our time right now is 6:45. Here's a live look from the Troy traffic circle this morning. Just ahead, Nick's got a look at your rainy and foggy forecast.
You're watching Your Day.
Here's a view right now over Beaver Creek, where it is a somewhat foggy morning there. We do have dense fog elsewhere, but also a lot of rain and a lot of mild temperatures. It's in the 40s. It feels like it's in the 40s. And yeah, we are still dealing with all the wet weather. In particular, it's the southern part of our area that is continuing to see probably the heartier showers, but there's still going to be a wave where we could actually get some more heavy-duty rain. As for today, temperatures flatline to slightly bumped. And when you talk about temperatures in the 40s in the morning, that's one thing. When it's 40s in the mornings for this time of year, it's certainly a rarity. The difference is we're just not going to warm up today, only a handful of degrees. Worth pointing out that tonight we could yet again see some dense fog across the area. In addition, we'll also see potentially a wave of showers as well. So 2-for-1 special of a little bit more difficulty with travel for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, rain showers are likely. No temperatures both today and tomorrow in the 50s. And you're going to notice that Friday, it's upper 40s. You go, okay. But here's the thing. That's probably a morning temperature. I expect these temperatures to slide into the low, maybe even low 40s, maybe upper 30s for your Friday, and then for Saturday, it'll be low 40s, so not awful. Saturday night, Sunday, next wave of rain. From that point on, we'll be bouncing around average to slightly above average into next week. Excuse me. As for this morning's commute, if you are traveling, right for now, we do have some dense fog around State Road 41, of course, that Miami County. So as you head up north, there could be an area to where it turns pea soup. We do have one incident in the Dayton area. That's at Wadsworth Road at Ashcraft.
Our time right now is 6:52. The man accused of leading police on a dramatic chase down US 35 will now be in court next Tuesday. Just ahead why the court date was pushed back.
You're watching Your Day.
This morning, we head to Greenville, where crews cleaned up for hours last night after a train derailment.
It resulted in 3 tanker cars overturned, all carrying ethanol. Melina Brown is live this morning. And Melina, are cleanup crews still out there?
Not anymore, but we do know as of midnight last night they still were. But now here early in the morning, this is all cleaned up now. There are no more carts overturned. You can just see a lot of dirt up. And as well as some blocking off. Now we do know that the railroad is going to have to be fixed. This all happening at the intersection of State Route 49 and 571. And as you mentioned, Nathan, we do know that some of those tanks did contain ethanol. The initial call for this incident came in around noon yesterday. As of right now, officials say none of the tanks carrying ethanol were damaged enough to cause any leaking or spillage. Greenville police and fire crews tell us there's no reported hazmat issues, adding the derailment didn't injure anyone in the area. Now, despite previous hazardous train derailments, like the one we saw in East Palestine happening just less than 1 year ago, experts tell us trains may still be the safest option.
There's truck and pipeline. Truck is more dangerous and pipeline is very limited because there's not much flexibility. So there are alternatives, but they're not better alternatives, I don't think.
Now, the company that owns the train that derailed, the RJ Corman Railroad Group, will be coming here today to speak with the public. As soon as we have information, we'll bring you updates here on air and online.
The man accused of leading police on this dramatic chase down US 35, firing at officers and crashing into cruisers, will now be in court next Tuesday. Judges delaying James Skirvin's arraignment. A 54-year-old is facing several charges for the events that led up to the chase and crash. Investigators say Skirvin and his adult daughter hit his adult daughter with his truck at the Voyager Village Mobile Home Park. When officers got there, they say he pointed a weapon at them, which started the chase. Skirvin's truck crashed into the Montgomery County Sheriff's cruiser and then landed on top of a Trotwood cruiser. Skirvin's still in the hospital. Prosecutors say they expect more charges to be filed.
We're learning new details for the funeral of former Springfield Mayor Warren Copeland. There's a visitation set for Saturday, February 3rd at the Springfield City Hall. It's scheduled to start at 2 in the afternoon. There will then be a celebration of life the next day, Sunday, February 4th. That'll be inside the Wittenberg University Fieldhouse.
Miami County Sheriff's Office needs your help looking for this man right here. Officials say he's been missing for a week. Willie Couch III was last seen January 16th in Union Township. Couch is 53, 6 foot tall, weighs 190 pounds, has blue hair and brown blue eyes and brown hair. He's also a U.S. Army veteran. Authorities warn he may be in mental distress. If you have information about where he might be, call 911 or the Miami County Communications Center. That number's on your screen, 937-440-9911.
Centerville City Schools are now looking to cut back in the upcoming school year. That's if the district's $3.9 million operating levy passes in March. A previous levy vote failed in November. Now the district is lowering their request. Here's what the district is planning. They'll get rid of four teaching positions, cut 10.5 classified positions. That'll include people like paraprofessionals, custodians, bus drivers, and clerical positions. The district will also get rid of 11 academic volunteer building coordinator stipends and hire essential staff at the lowest starting salary. The district will